What if the greatest battle you'll ever face isn't out there in the world, but inside your own mind? Imagine conquering your fears, crushing excuses, and unlocking a version of yourself that's unstoppable. In this video, we dive into the timeless wisdom of Stoicism inspired by Marcus Aurelius, revealing 10 powerful secrets to sharpen your mind and transform your life today. Stick around until the end to discover practical tips you can apply right now to become stronger, wiser, and more disciplined. Don't miss out. Subscribe to ZenLight 8 and let's start this journey to greatness together. The death of excuses. The greatest war you'll ever wage isn't against external enemies. It's against the version of yourself that whispers, "Not today." It's a silent, insidious battle fought in the quiet moments of your morning, when the alarm blares and your mind begs for 5 more minutes of sleep. It's the fleeting hesitation before you start a task, the subtle rationalization that says, "I'll do it later when I feel ready." These are the excuses, the poisonous lies we tell ourselves, that chain us to mediocrity, keeping us from the life we're destined to live. The Stoics, those ancient warriors of the mind, understood this better than anyone. They saw excuses not as harmless indulgences but as shackles forged by our own hands, binding us to a weaker, smaller existence. To become the person you're meant to be, you must declare war on excuses, wielding action as your sword and discipline as your shield. This is not about waiting for inspiration or perfect conditions. It's about choosing to move, to act, to rise, even when every fiber of your being resists. Let's explore how to slay the dragon of excuses and unleash the relentless, unbreakable version of you. Excuses are the mind's clever disguise for fear of failure, discomfort, or the unknown. They're the soft, seductive voice that promises comfort now at the expense of your future. "I'm too tired," you might say, or "I don't have enough time." These words feel true in the moment, but they're illusions, mirages that evaporate under scrutiny. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, knew that true strength lies in recognizing these lies for what they are and refusing to let them dictate your path. In his Meditations, Marcus wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This isn't just philosophy, it's a call to arms. Every time you entertain an excuse, you're surrendering control to a weaker version of yourself, the one that craves ease over effort, safety over growth. But the moment you reject that excuse, you reclaim your power. You declare that you are not a prisoner of your moods, your circumstances, or your fleeting doubts. You are a warrior, and warriors don't negotiate with weakness, they crush it. Consider the story of a young entrepreneur named Sarah, a single mother in Chicago who dreamed of starting her own bakery. Every day, she faced a barrage of excuses. "I'm too busy with my kids. I don't have the money. What if I fail?" These thoughts could have kept her stuck, working a dead-end job she hated, forever wondering what if. But Sarah refused to let those excuses define her. She started small, baking late at night after her kids were asleep, selling cupcakes to neighbors, and saving every penny she could. When exhaustion crept in, she didn't say, "I'll rest and start tomorrow." She pushed through, driven by a vision of a better life. Today, her bakery is a local favorite, not because she was lucky or naturally gifted, but because she treated excuses like enemies to be defeated with action. Sarah's story isn't unique. It's a testament to what happens when you refuse to let the weak voice in your head win. Her victory began with a single choice: to act despite the temptation to delay. This choice is where transformation begins. Excuses thrive in hesitation, growing stronger with every second you entertain them. The Stoics understood that the antidote to this poison is immediate action. Imagine you're standing at the edge of a cold pool, dreading the plunge. The longer you stand there, the louder the excuses become. "It's too cold. I'll do it later." But the moment you jump, the debate ends. The shock of the water becomes a fleeting discomfort, replaced by the exhilaration of having conquered your resistance. Life works the same way. When you feel the urge to procrastinate, whether it's skipping a workout, delaying a project, or avoiding a tough conversation, that's your signal to move. Drop and do 10 push-ups. Open your laptop and write 1 sentence. Pick up the phone and make the call. Action doesn't just silence excuses. It rewires your brain to see resistance as a challenge, not a barrier. Over time, this reflex becomes your identity. You become the person who acts, not the person who waits. Let's ground this in a modern example. Think about the fitness journey of someone like David Goggins, the former Navy SEAL and ultramarathon runner. Goggins wasn't born a superhuman athlete. He was once overweight, stuck in a cycle of self-doubt and excuses. "I'm not built for this," he told himself. "I'll start tomorrow." But one day, he decided enough was enough. He didn't wait to feel ready. He laced up his shoes and ran, even though every step hurt, even though his mind screamed for him to quit. That first run wasn't pretty, but it was the spark that ignited a transformation. Goggins didn't just overcome excuses, he obliterated them, building a mindset so relentless that he now inspires millions. His story shows that the death of excuses isn't about grand gestures. It's about small, deliberate actions that compound into monumental change. Every time you choose to act over hesitate, you're forging a new version of yourself, one that's stronger, sharper, and unafraid. This battle against excuses is deeply emotional because it's personal. It's about proving to yourself that you're capable of more than you think. Each victory, no matter how small, builds a reservoir of self-trust. When you get out of bed at the first alarm, you're not just starting your day. You're telling yourself, "I am in control." When you push through a workout despite feeling tired, you're reinforcing, "I am resilient." These moments aren't trivial. They're the bricks that build the foundation of a life defined by purpose, not regret. The Stoics believed that character is forged in these daily choices. Marcus Aurelius didn't become a great emperor by accident. He did it by relentlessly examining his thoughts and acting in alignment with his principles, no matter how tempting the easier path was. You have that same power. Every time you kill an excuse, you're sculpting a version of yourself that's worthy of your highest aspirations. But let's be real, this isn't easy. Excuses are seductive because they offer instant relief. They let you off the hook, promising that tomorrow will be better, that you'll feel more prepared later. Yet tomorrow becomes next week, next month, next year, and suddenly you're looking back, wondering where the time went. The Stoics warned against this trap, urging us to treat time as our most precious resource. In America today, where distractions are endless, social media, Netflix, the constant buzz of notifications, excuses are easier to embrace than ever. It's why so many dreams stay dreams, why so many goals remain unfulfilled. But you don't have to follow that path. You can choose to be different. You can choose to act when others hesitate, to move when others stall, to build when others dream. The death of excuses is the birth of possibility. Picture this. It's 5 a.m. and your alarm goes off. Your body screams for more sleep. Your mind whispers, "Just hit snooze." In that moment, you have a choice. You can give in, reinforcing the habit of delay, or you can swing your feet onto the floor, stand up, and claim the day. That simple act, getting up when you don't want to, sets the tone for everything else. It's a declaration that you're not ruled by comfort, that you're stronger than your impulses. From there, the momentum builds. You make your bed, hit the gym, tackle your work with focus. One choice leads to another, creating a ripple effect that transforms your day, your week, your life. This is the power of killing excuses. It's not just about one moment. It's about rewriting your entire story. As we slay the dragon of excuses, we prepare ourselves for the next great challenge, building a foundation of discipline that makes action not just possible, but inevitable. Discipline is the muscle that turns intention into reality, and it's where we'll go next on this journey to self-mastery. Discipline over motivation. The war against your weaker self doesn't end with slaying excuses. It's only the beginning. Excuses are the first enemy, but there's a deeper, more elusive foe, the fleeting illusion of motivation. We've all felt it, that sudden spark of inspiration, the rush of energy that makes you believe you can conquer anything. But motivation is a fickle friend, here one moment and gone the next, leaving you stranded when the skies turn gray. It's like a summer breeze, pleasant but unreliable, incapable of sustaining you through the storms of life. The Stoics, with their razor-sharp clarity, saw through this mirage. They knew that true progress, the kind that reshapes your destiny, isn't built on fleeting feelings, but on the unbreakable foundation of discipline. Discipline is the fire that burns when motivation fades, the compass that guides you when inspiration wanders. It's the choice to act, to move, to persist, even when your heart isn't in it. To become the master of your fate, you must forge discipline into your very identity, turning action into instinct and progress into habit. Let's dive into how discipline, not motivation, holds the key to unlocking your greatest potential. Motivation is a siren's song, luring you with promises of effortless achievement. It's the viral video that pumps you up, the quote that lights a fire under you, the fleeting moment when you feel invincible. But here's the brutal truth. Motivation doesn't last. It's not meant to. It's a chemical rush in your brain, dopamine masquerading as determination, and it evaporates the moment life gets tough. Picture a marathon runner who only trains when they feel inspired. They'd never cross the finish line. Or a writer who only writes when the muse strikes. They'd never finish a book. The Stoics, like Seneca, understood this better than most. Seneca wrote, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." Preparation isn't born from motivation. It's forged in discipline, the relentless commitment to show up day after day, regardless of how you feel. Discipline doesn't care if you're tired, uninspired, or overwhelmed. It demands action, not excuses, and it rewards you with results that motivation could never deliver. Think about someone like Angela, a nurse in Seattle who decided to go back to school for her master's degree while working night shifts. Motivation got her started. She was excited about advancing her career, inspired by stories of others who'd done it. But after a few weeks, the grind set in. 12-hour shifts left her exhausted, assignments piled up, and that initial spark of enthusiasm faded. "I don't feel like studying tonight," her mind whispered. "I'll catch up tomorrow." But Angela didn't wait for motivation to return. She built a system. Every morning, no matter how drained she felt, she studied for 2 hours before bed. She turned off her phone, set a timer, and got to work. Some days, she barely absorbed a page, but she showed up anyway. Over time, those small, disciplined efforts compounded. 2 years later, she graduated with honors, not because she was always motivated, but because she made discipline her default. Angela's story isn't about superhuman willpower. It's about choosing consistency over mood swings, action over indecision. Discipline is a muscle, and like any muscle, it grows stronger with use. The more you exercise it, the easier it becomes to act without debating, to move without hesitating. Start small, but start deliberately. Set a non-negotiable rule. Read 10 pages of a book every night, no matter how busy you are. Do a 20-minute workout every morning, even if you're not feeling it. Write one paragraph toward your novel, even if it's messy. These aren't grand gestures. They're tiny rebellions against the part of you that wants to coast. Each time you follow through, you're training your brain to obey your commands, not your emotions. Over weeks, months, years, these small acts of discipline stack up, transforming you from someone who dreams into someone who does. The beauty of discipline is its predictability. Motivation might abandon you, but discipline is always there, ready to carry you forward if you just take the first step. Let's look at a real-world example that resonates across America. The rise of Kobe Bryant, one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Kobe wasn't the most naturally gifted athlete. Others were faster, stronger, taller, but he was unmatched in discipline. While his peers slept, Kobe was in the gym at 4 a.m., shooting thousands of shots, perfecting his craft. He didn't wait to feel motivated. He operated on a code. Work when others rest, improve when others stagnate. "I don't negotiate with myself," he once said. That mindset turned a good player into a legend. Kobe's legacy teaches us that discipline isn't about feeling ready. It's about deciding to act and letting the results follow. Whether you're chasing a career goal, building a business, or just trying to be a better version of yourself, discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. This isn't to say motivation is useless. It can be a great starting point, a match that lights the fire. But discipline is the fuel that keeps it burning. Without it, you're at the mercy of your moods, starting and stopping every time your enthusiasm wanes. In today's fast-paced world, where distractions are a click away and instant gratification is king, discipline is rarer and more valuable than ever. Social media bombards you with highlight reels, making it easy to feel like you're falling behind. Motivation might push you to start, but only discipline will carry you through the inevitable moments of doubt, fatigue, and failure. It's what separates the dreamers from the doers, the wishers from the winners. When you make discipline your foundation, you're no longer a passenger in your own life, you're the driver. The emotional weight of this choice hits hard. Every time you act despite not wanting to, you're telling yourself, I am capable. You're building a relationship with yourself based on trust, not betrayal. Think about the last time you skipped a workout or procrastinated on a project. How did it feel? Probably like a small betrayal, a crack in your self-respect. Now imagine the opposite. The pride of pushing through, the quiet confidence of knowing you kept your word to yourself. That's the gift of discipline. It's not just about getting things done. It's about becoming someone you respect, someone who doesn't crumble when life gets messy. The Stoics believed that true freedom comes from self-mastery, and discipline is the path to that freedom. It's the power to choose your actions, not because you feel like it, but because you've decided who you want to be. But discipline isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. You'll stumble. You'll have days where you fall back into old habits, where the couch looks more inviting than the gym. That's okay. The Stoics didn't expect flawlessness. They valued effort. When you slip, don't wallow, act. Get back on track with one small step. Make your bed. Do 5 push-ups. Write 1 sentence. These micro acts of discipline are your way back, proof that you're still in the fight. Over time, they'll become second nature, and you'll find yourself acting not because you're inspired, but because it's who you are. You'll wake up one day and realize you're no longer waiting for motivation. You're creating your own momentum day after discipline day. As we build this fortress of discipline, we prepare ourselves for the next crucible, embracing hardship as a teacher. Discipline gives us the strength to act, but hardship shapes us into something greater, forging resilience in the fire of struggle. Hardship as an ally. Discipline sets the stage, but it's hardship that carves you into a force of nature. In a world obsessed with comfort, where air-conditioned lives and instant gratification are the norm, hardship sounds like a curse. We're taught to avoid it, to seek the path of least resistance, to chase pleasure over pain. But the Stoics saw through this lie. They knew that hardship isn't your enemy. It's your greatest ally, the forge where your character is tempered, your will hardened, and your soul sharpened. Epictetus, one of the Stoic giants, said, "Difficulties are things that show a person what they are. Every struggle, every setback, every moment of discomfort is a mirror, revealing not just who you are now, but who you can become. To live a life of greatness, you must stop running from hardship and start embracing it, welcoming it as the teacher that will mold you into an unbreakable version of yourself." Let's explore how to make hardship your ally and transform pain into power. Hardship is the ultimate truth teller. It strips away illusions, exposing your strengths and weaknesses with brutal honesty. When life gets tough, when you lose a job, face rejection, or hit a wall in your goals, your true character emerges. Do you crumble, blaming the world for your woes? Or do you rise, adapting and pushing forward? The weak flee from hardship, seeking shortcuts and easy outs, but in doing so, they rob themselves of growth. The strong, however, lean into it. They understand that pain is a signal, not a stop sign. It's the ache in your muscles after a grueling workout, proof that you're getting stronger. It's the sting of failure after a bold risk, evidence that you're daring to reach higher. Hardship isn't something to fear. It's something to seek, a necessary ingredient in the recipe for greatness. Consider the story of Javier, a first-generation immigrant in Texas who arrived with nothing but a dream of building a better life. He worked grueling construction jobs, 12 hours a day under the scorching sun, while learning English at night. The work was brutal, blisters on his hands, exhaustion in his bones, and moments of doubt that whispered, "This is too hard." But Javier didn't see hardship as a punishment. He saw it as training. Every swing of the hammer, every late-night study session was a step toward his goal. He saved enough to start his own contracting business. And today, he employs dozens, providing for his family in ways he once only dreamed of. Javier's success didn't come from avoiding struggle. It came from embracing it, from treating every challenge as a chance to prove his resilience. His story is a reminder that hardship doesn't break you. It builds you, if you let it. This mindset shift is radical, especially in a culture that glorifies ease. Scroll through Instagram, and you'll see promises of quick fixes. Get rich in 30 days. Lose weight without effort. These are lies, peddling comfort as the path to success. But the Stoics knew better. Marcus Aurelius didn't pray for an easier life. He prayed for the strength to endure a hard one. He understood that comfort breeds fragility, while struggle breeds fortitude. Think about it. A tree that grows in calm weather snaps in a storm, but one that withstands fierce winds develops deep roots. You are that tree. Every hardship you face, whether it's a missed deadline, a personal loss, or a physical challenge, makes you tougher, more adaptable, more unbreakable. The key is to stop seeing struggle as an obstacle and start seeing it as the path itself. How do you make this shift? Start by seeking controlled hardship daily. Take a cold shower every morning. Not because it's trendy, but because it teaches you to override discomfort with willpower. Learn a new skill that intimidates you, like public speaking or coding, and embrace the frustration of being a beginner. Say no to that extra hour of Netflix and go for a run instead, feeling the burn in your lungs as a reminder that you're alive and growing. These small acts of voluntary hardship train your mind to thrive under pressure. They teach you that discomfort isn't your enemy. It's your coach, pushing you to expand your limits. In America, where convenience is king, choosing hardship is a rebellion. It's a refusal to be softened by a world that wants you comfortable, complacent, and weak. Let's draw inspiration from someone like J.K. Rowling, whose story resonates worldwide but feels especially American in its grit. Before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon, Rowling was a struggling single mother, living on welfare, battling depression, and facing rejection after rejection from publishers. Writing her book wasn't a hobby. It was a lifeline, typed out in cafes while her baby slept. Every no from a publisher, every sleepless night, every moment of despair was a hardship that could have stopped her. But Rowling didn't quit. She used her struggles as fuel, channeling her pain into a story that would inspire millions. Her success wasn't luck. It was the product of embracing hardship, of refusing to let rejection define her. Rowling's journey shows that hardship doesn't just test you. It transforms you, turning raw potential into something extraordinary. This transformation is deeply emotional because it's personal. Hardship forces you to confront your vulnerabilities, to sit with your fears and doubts. It's not comfortable, but it's liberating. When you push through a challenge, whether it's finishing a marathon, launching a business, or simply getting out of bed during a dark time, you discover a strength you didn't know you had. That discovery changes you. It builds a quiet confidence, a sense of self that no one can take away. The Stoics called this the inner citadel, a fortress of resilience that shields you from life's chaos. Every hardship you face adds another stone to that citadel, making you less vulnerable to fear, less shaken by failure, less dependent on external validation. You become someone who doesn't just survive, you thrive, because you've learned to turn pain into power. But embracing hardship doesn't mean chasing suffering for its own sake. It's about purpose. The Stoics didn't seek pain recklessly. They sought growth deliberately. When you choose hardship, do it with intention. Ask yourself, how will this make me stronger? If you're training for a 5K, the early mornings and sore muscles aren't just punishment. They're preparation for crossing the finish line. If you're studying for a degree, the late nights and tough exams aren't torture. They're steps toward a career that fulfills you. Hardship is a tool, not a trap. Use it to sharpen your focus, to deepen your resolve, to carve out a life that reflects your highest values. In a society that often measures success by ease, choosing hardship is a declaration. You're not here to coast. You're here to conquer. This mindset is especially urgent today. In an era of endless distractions, where algorithms feed you comfort and convenience, it's easy to drift through life, avoiding anything that feels too hard. But drifting leads to regret. Look around, and you'll see people who settled, who chose the easy path and woke up years later wondering, what if I tried? You don't have to be that person. You can choose to embrace hardship now to build a life that's not just good, but great. Start today. Do one hard thing. Something that scares you, something that stretches you. It could be a tough conversation, a new workout, or a bold step toward a dream. Feel the resistance and push through it. That's where growth lives. That's where you become the person you're meant to be. As we learn to see hardship as our ally, we set the stage for the next great lesson: mastering our emotions. Discipline gives us action, hardship gives us strength, but emotional control gives us clarity. The power to navigate life's storms with a steady hand and an unshaken mind. Mastering your emotions. Discipline has given you the power to act. Hardship has forged your resilience. But there's another battlefield that demands your mastery: your emotions. In the heat of the moment, when anger surges, fear grips, or anxiety clouds your mind, it's easy to lose control, to let these fleeting feelings steer your life off course. Weak men are slaves to their emotions, reacting impulsively, saying things they regret, making choices that haunt them. But the strong man, the stoic warrior, rules his inner world with an iron fist. He doesn't suppress his emotions or pretend they don't exist. He acknowledges them, understands them, and commands them with reason. To master your emotions is to master yourself, to stand unshaken amidst life's chaos, to act with clarity when others crumble. It's the art of turning raw feelings into refined power, ensuring that no storm within you derails the path to greatness. Let's dive into how to harness your emotions, not as chains, but as fuel for a life of purpose and strength. Emotions are like waves. They can lift you up or pull you under, depending on how you navigate them. Left unchecked, they become tyrants. A flash of anger can burn bridges you've spent years building. A moment of fear can keep you from seizing an opportunity that could change your life. A wave of sadness can spiral into inaction, trapping you in a cycle of self-pity. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, saw emotions as natural but not infallible. They're signals, not commands. Anger might alert you to an injustice, fear might warn you of danger, but neither should dictate your response. Instead, you must pause, breathe, and choose. This pause is your superpower. It's the space where reason takes the wheel, where you decide whether an emotion serves you or sabotages you. Mastering this moment transforms you from a puppet of your feelings into the architect of your actions. Consider the story of Michael, a firefighter in Boston who faced life-or-death decisions daily. One night, a raging inferno trapped a family in an apartment building. Panic surged through him. His heart raced. His mind screamed to retreat. But Michael had trained for this, not just physically but mentally. He took 3 deep breaths, grounding himself in the present. Instead of letting fear drive him, he let reason guide him. He assessed the situation, coordinated with his team, and led the rescue, saving lives. Later, he admitted the fear never left. It was there, loud and real, but he didn't let it control him. Michael's story shows that mastering emotions isn't about being fearless or emotionless. It's about acting despite what you feel, choosing logic over impulse, and staying steady when the world feels like it's collapsing. This skill is crucial in today's America, where emotional triggers are everywhere. Social media amplifies outrage, news cycles fuel anxiety, and daily stresses test your patience. It's easy to snap at a coworker, doom scroll through bad news, or let frustration derail your goals. But every time you react impulsively, you're handing over your power. The Stoics taught that true strength lies in self-control, in being the calm at the center of the storm. Imagine you're stuck in traffic, late for an important meeting. Your blood boils, your mind races with worst-case scenarios. The weak self honks, curses, and spirals into anger. The strong self breathes deeply, accepts what can't be changed, and focuses on what can. maybe making a call to reschedule or planning a more effective approach for next time. This choice doesn't just defuse the moment. It builds a habit of composure that serves you in every area of life. How do you cultivate this habit? Start with awareness. Emotions often strike without warning, hijacking your mind before you realize it. Train yourself to notice the first signs. Tightness in your chest, a racing pulse, a knot in your stomach. When you feel that spark of anger or flicker of doubt, pause. Count to 3. Breathe slowly. This simple act creates distance between the emotion and your response, giving you room to think. Ask yourself, is this feeling justified? Will acting on it move me forward or hold me back? If anger pushes you to yell, consider whether it'll solve the problem or create a bigger one. If fear urges you to avoid a challenge, weigh whether it's a real threat or just discomfort in disguise. This questioning isn't weakness, it's wisdom. The Stoic practice of reasoning through your reactions to ensure they align with your higher purpose. Let's draw inspiration from someone like Abraham Lincoln, a figure etched into America's soul. Lincoln faced unimaginable pressure, leading a divided nation through civil war, grappling with personal loss, and enduring constant criticism. Yet he was known for his calm, deliberate demeanor. When generals failed him or advisors provoked him, he didn't lash out. He wrote hot letters to vent his anger, then tucked them away, never sending them. He paused, reflected, and chose responses that served his greater goal: preserving the Union. Lincoln's emotional mastery wasn't innate. It was forged through practice, through choosing patience over rage, clarity over chaos. His legacy reminds us that controlling your emotions doesn't just shape your life, it can shape history. This control is deeply emotional because it's liberating. Every time you choose reason over impulse, you're reclaiming your freedom. You're saying, I am not my anger. I am not my fear. I am the one who decides. That power feels like standing on a mountaintop, unshaken by the winds below. It's the confidence of knowing you can face any crisis. A tough conversation, a career setback, a personal betrayal, and still act with dignity. In a culture that often celebrates raw emotion, choosing restraint is a quiet rebellion. It's a refusal to be swept away by the noise, a commitment to building a life guided by wisdom, not whim. Start small. The next time you feel a surge of frustration, don't speak. Breathe. The next time anxiety creeps in, don't spiral. Write down one actionable step. These moments of mastery stack up, turning you into someone who doesn't just react to life but shapes it. Mastering your emotions doesn't mean becoming a robot. It's about channeling your feelings into something constructive. Anger can fuel determination, fear can sharpen focus, sadness can deepen empathy, but only if you govern them. The Stoics saw this as the path to inner peace, a state where no external chaos can unsettle you. In a world that's louder and faster than ever, that peace is a superpower. It's the ability to walk through fire and come out not just whole, but stronger. As you build the skill, you'll find it unlocks another vital strength: the self-respect that comes from living true to your principles, no matter what the world throws at you. Self-respect through discipline. Mastering your emotions gives you clarity, but it's self-respect that anchors you in a world desperate to pull you off course. In America today, where likes, followers, and applause define so many lives, it's tempting to chase validation from others. Scroll through social media, and you'll see people bending over backward for approval, posting curated lives, chasing trends, craving the fleeting high of being seen. But this is a trap, a bottomless pit that leaves you empty no matter how much you pour into it. The Stoics, with their unflinching wisdom, knew that true self-respect isn't borrowed from the crowd. It's built from within, brick by disciplined brick. It's the quiet pride of knowing you've honored your own standards, the unshakable confidence of living by your principles, not someone else's script. To earn your own respect, you must strip away distractions, forge habits that sharpen your soul, and become someone who doesn't need the world's nod to stand tall. Let's explore how discipline becomes the foundation of a self-respect so deep, no external judgment can touch it. Self-respect is the antidote to a culture obsessed with external validation. The weak self seeks it in compliments, clicks, and comparisons, always looking outward to feel worthy. But the strong self knows that worth isn't given, it's earned. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Wasting time on meaningless distractions, endless scrolling, binge-watching, chasing others' approval, is a betrayal of your potential. Every hour spent seeking likes is an hour stolen from building something real. A skill, a legacy, a life you're proud of. Self-respect grows when you choose discipline over indulgence, when you say no to the easy pull of instant gratification and yes to the hard work of becoming your best self. It's the difference between a life that's loud but shallow and one that's quiet but profound. Take the story of Lauren, a graphic designer in Atlanta who felt stuck in a cycle of self-doubt. She spent hours on Instagram, comparing her work to influencers with thousands of followers, feeling smaller with every post. If I just get more likes, she thought, I'll feel good about myself. But the validation never lasted. One day, she decided to stop. She deleted her apps, set a rule. No social media for 30 days. Instead, she poured that time into her craft, studying design techniques, sketching daily, building a portfolio she was proud of. At first, it was lonely. She missed the instant feedback. But as her skills grew, so did her confidence. Clients started noticing her work, not because she chased attention, but because she built something undeniable. Lauren's self-respect didn't come from applause. It came from discipline, from knowing she'd honored her talent through effort, not validation. This shift is powerful because it's internal. Self-respect doesn't depend on what others think. It depends on what you do when no one's watching. It's waking up early to write, even if no one reads it yet. It's hitting the gym, even if the results aren't instant. It's keeping your word to yourself, whether it's eating healthier or tackling a tough project. These acts of discipline are promises you keep, proof that you value yourself enough to invest in your growth. The Stoics saw this as the root of dignity. When you live by your own standards, when you do what's right, not what's easy, you build a fortress of self-worth that no criticism can breach. In a world that measures you by followers or paychecks, this is freedom. The ability to stand firm in who you are, unshaken by the noise. Let's look at someone like Fred Rogers, America's beloved Mr. Rogers. His quiet strength came not from fame but from discipline. Every day, he swam laps, prayed, and wrote with intention, living by a code of kindness and purpose. He didn't chase applause. He earned respect by being true to his values, even when cameras weren't rolling. Rogers' life shows that self-respect isn't loud or flashy. It's the steady rhythm of disciplined choices, the courage to live authentically in a world that pulls you toward conformity. His legacy endures not because he sought approval, but because he built a life so genuine, it couldn't be ignored. Building this self-respect means cutting out what weakens you. Social media, if it fuels comparison, gets limited. Junk food, if it saps your energy, gets replaced with fuel for your body. Mindless entertainment, if it numbs your mind, gives way to reading, learning, creating. Replace these with habits that sharpen you. Exercise to strengthen your body, study to expand your mind, meditation to center your soul. Develop a skill that makes you valuable: coding, writing, cooking, anything that demands effort and rewards mastery. These aren't just tasks. They're declarations of worth, proof that you're investing in yourself. In America, where hustle is celebrated, discipline is your edge. It's what turns potential into impact, dreams into reality. The emotional payoff is profound. Every disciplined choice feels like a nod to your own value. You walk taller, speak with more conviction, live with less fear of judgment. You stop needing others to tell you you're enough because you've proven it to yourself. This isn't arrogance, it's assurance, the quiet certainty of someone who knows their worth isn't up for debate. The Stoics believed that self-respect is the foundation of virtue, the bedrock of a life well lived. When you respect yourself, you don't bend to pressure, compromise your principles, or chase fleeting approval. You become a force, steady, purposeful, unbreakable. This journey isn't always smooth. You'll face temptation to slip back into old habits, to seek the quick hit of a like or a compliment. That's okay. Discipline isn't perfection. It's persistence. When you falter, reset with one small act. Make your bed, write a sentence, take a walk. These are your way back. Reminders that you're still building. Over time, disciplined habits become your identity. You're no longer someone who tries to be better. You're someone who is. In a culture that often feels like a popularity contest, choosing self-respect through discipline is a rebellion. It's a refusal to let the world define you, a commitment to defining yourself. As we anchor ourselves in self-respect, we prepare for the next challenge, cultivating the endurance to keep going when the road gets long. Discipline builds our worth, but endurance ensures we carry it through every trial, forging a legacy that stands the test of time. The art of endurance. Self-respect anchors you, but it's endurance that carries you through the long, grueling miles of life's journey. In a world that celebrates instant success, where overnight fame and quick wins dominate the headlines, it's easy to believe that greatness comes without struggle. But the Stoics knew better. They saw life as a marathon, not a sprint, and understood that true victory belongs to those who can endure, who can face pain without flinching, who can keep moving when every instinct screams to quit. Endurance isn't just about surviving hardship. It's about thriving in it, using every challenge as a chance to grow stronger, wiser, and more unshakable. It's the art of turning suffering into strength, setbacks into stepping stones, and obstacles into opportunities. To master endurance is to master the long game, to become someone who doesn't just dream of greatness but persists until it's theirs. Let's explore how to cultivate this relentless spirit, forging a will so resilient that no storm can break it. Endurance is the quiet power that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. It's not flashy or loud. It's the steady heartbeat of someone who refuses to give up. The weak see hardship as a dead end, a reason to complain or retreat. They crumble under pressure, convinced that pain is a punishment. But the strong see it differently. They know that pain is a teacher, a forge where character is tempered. Epictetus said, "Don't hope that events will turn out the way you want. Welcome events in whichever way they happen." This is the path to peace. This isn't passive resignation. It's active acceptance, a choice to embrace struggle as part of the process. Every ache, every failure, every moment of doubt is a test, asking, will you keep going? Endurance answers with action, proving that you're tougher than your toughest days. Picture Maria, a small-town teacher in Ohio who dreamed of running a marathon. She wasn't an athlete. Her days were packed with grading papers, raising 2 kids, and managing a tight budget. When she started training, her body protested. Her knees ached, her lungs burned, and her schedule seemed impossible. "I'm not cut out for this," she thought after collapsing on her couch post-run. But Maria didn't let pain stop her. She saw each grueling mile as a lesson in resilience. She woke up at 5 a.m., laced up her worn sneakers, and hit the pavement, rain or shine. Some days she only managed a slow jog, but she kept going. Race day wasn't perfect. She hit the wall at mile 20, her legs screaming to quit. But she remembered why she started, to prove to herself she could endure. Crossing the finish line, tears mixed with sweat, Maria didn't just complete a marathon. She became someone who could face any challenge because she'd learned to outlast her pain. This ability to endure is vital in today's America, where instant gratification is everywhere. One-click shopping, viral fame, and fast food train us to expect ease, not effort. But real growth, whether it's building a career, a family, or a legacy, takes time and tenacity. Endurance is what keeps you in the game when motivation fades, when results are slow, when the world seems stacked against you. It's showing up to a job you're overqualified for because it's a step toward your dream. It's studying through exhaustion because you know knowledge compounds. It's forgiving a loved one's mistake because relationships are worth the work. These acts of endurance aren't glamorous, but they're transformative. They build a life not of fleeting highs but of lasting impact. How do you train this skill? Seek challenges deliberately. Push your limits daily, not to break yourself, but to stretch yourself. Run a little farther than feels comfortable. Work an extra 30 minutes on a project when you're tempted to stop. Say yes to a task that scares you. A speech, a negotiation, a new skill. These moments of discomfort are your training ground, teaching you to stay calm under pressure, to adapt when plans unravel, to persist when hope feels distant. Take inspiration from someone like Ernest Shackleton, the explorer whose Antarctic expedition became a legend of endurance. When his ship was crushed by ice in 1915, stranding his crew in brutal conditions, Shackleton didn't despair. He led his men through starvation, freezing seas, and impossible odds, keeping them alive for over a year until rescue. His secret wasn't strength or luck. It was endurance, the refusal to let hardship win. Shackleton's story, though extreme, mirrors our own battles. Life will test you, but endurance ensures you triumph. The emotional weight of endurance is profound. Every time you push through pain, you're rewriting your story. You're proving to yourself that you're not defined by your circumstances, your fatigue, or your fears. Crossing that finish line, finishing that project, or simply getting out of bed on a brutal day feels like a quiet victory, a nod to your own resilience. It's the pride of knowing you didn't quit, even when quitting seemed easier. The Stoics saw this as the path to true strength, a strength that doesn't rely on external wins, but on internal resolve. In a culture that often rewards speed over stamina, choosing endurance is a rebellion. It's a refusal to be swayed by quick fixes, a commitment to building something enduring, something real. Endurance isn't blind stubbornness. It's purposeful persistence. It's knowing why you're fighting, what you're building toward. Without purpose, pain is just suffering. With purpose, pain becomes progress. When you endure, remind yourself of your why. A better future, a stronger self, a legacy for those you love. That clarity keeps you grounded, turning every step into a victory. Start today. Pick one challenge, no matter how small, and commit to seeing it through. Feel the resistance and push past it. That's where endurance lives. That's where you become unstoppable. As we master the art of endurance, we prepare for a quieter but equally powerful ally: solitude. Endurance keeps us moving forward, but solitude gives us the space to understand where we're going, to forge a purpose that no storm can shake. The power of solitude. Endurance carries you through life's battles, but it's solitude that sharpens your vision, giving you the clarity to fight for what truly matters. In a world that's louder than ever, where notifications ping, screens glow, and voices clamor for your attention, being alone feels like a radical act. Most people fear it, filling every moment with noise to drown out their own thoughts. They chase crowds, scroll endlessly, or binge shows, anything to avoid the stillness that forces them to face themselves. But the Stoics saw solitude differently. They didn't run from it, they sought it, knowing it was the crucible where wisdom is born, where purpose is refined, where the soul finds its true north. Solitude isn't loneliness. It's a sanctuary, a place to confront your fears, dissect your dreams, and build a mind so clear it cuts through life's chaos like a blade. Let's explore how to embrace solitude, not as isolation, but as the ultimate tool for self-mastery. Solitude is where you meet the real you, the one unfiltered by others' expectations, undistorted by social masks. In the noise of daily life, it's easy to lose yourself, to become a patchwork of what others want you to be. Friends, family, co-workers, algorithms, they all pull you in different directions, blurring your sense of purpose. But when you're alone, the chatter fades. You're left with your thoughts, raw and unedited, and that's where transformation begins. Seneca wrote, "Nothing, to my way of thinking, is a better proof of a well-ordered mind than a man's ability to stop just where he is and pass some time in his own company." This isn't about escaping the world. It's about engaging with yourself, asking the hard questions. Who am I? What do I want? What's holding me back? Solitude strips away distractions, leaving you face to face with truth. Think of Claire, a marketing manager in Denver who felt burned out, chasing deadlines and approval. Her days were packed. Meetings, emails, happy hours. Yet she felt empty, like she was running on someone else's treadmill. One weekend, she turned off her phone and went hiking alone in the Rockies. At first, the The silence was unnerving. Her mind raced, itching for a notification. But as hours passed, something shifted. Sitting by a stream, she started journaling, spilling out fears she'd ignored. Fear of failure, fear of not being enough. In that quiet, she realized she'd been living for others' validation, not her own purpose. She wrote down what she truly wanted, to start her own business, to create something meaningful. That solitude didn't just recharge her, it redirected her. Claire quit her job, launched a consultancy, and now thrives, not because she escaped life, but because she found herself in the stillness. This power is rare in today's America, where connection is constant but often shallow. Social media promises community but delivers comparison. Group chats buzz with banter but rarely depth. We're on all the time, yet many feel more alone than ever. Solitude offers something different. A chance to reconnect with yourself, to build a foundation so strong you don't need external noise to feel whole. The Stoics practiced this deliberately. Marcus Aurelius would rise before dawn, sitting alone to reflect, to align his actions with his values. That solitude wasn't weakness, it was his strength, the reason he could lead an empire without losing himself. You don't need an empire to benefit from this. A few minutes alone each day, journaling, meditating, or simply thinking, can ground you in a way no crowd ever will. How do you harness this power? Start small, but start intentionally. Set aside 10 minutes daily to be alone, no phone, no distractions. Sit with your thoughts, even if they're uncomfortable. Write them down if they overwhelm you. It's like untangling a knot. Ask yourself, what's driving me today? Am I living for me or for others? These moments of reflection build self-awareness, the bedrock of self-mastery. If silence feels daunting, try guided solitude, read philosophy, like Seneca or Aurelius, to spark deeper thoughts. Or take a walk, letting nature quiet your mind. The goal isn't to escape reality, but to engage with it more fully, to return to the world clearer, stronger, more purposeful. Let's draw from someone like Maya Angelou, whose words still resonate across America. Angelou faced trauma, racism, and rejection, yet her strength came from solitude. She'd retreat to write, often in hotel rooms with just a legal pad and her thoughts. In those quiet hours, she wrestled with pain, found her voice, and crafted works that changed lives. Her solitude wasn't isolation. It was creation, a space where she transformed suffering into art. Angelou's life shows that solitude isn't about hiding. It's about discovering, about forging a self so authentic it shines through any darkness. Her example urges us to embrace our own stillness, to find the courage to face ourselves. The emotional impact of solitude is profound because it's intimate. It's just you and your truth, no filters, no excuses. At first, it might scare you, facing your flaws, your fears, your unfinished dreams. But that fear is a sign you're growing. In solitude, you learn to enjoy your own company, to trust your own judgment. You stop needing others to fill your voids because you've filled them yourself, with purpose, with clarity, with strength. The Stoics saw this as the ultimate freedom, a mind at peace in its own presence. In a world that demands your attention 24/7, choosing solitude is a rebellion. It's a refusal to be defined by noise, a commitment to crafting a self that's whole, not hollow. Solitude isn't an end, it's a beginning. It's where you sharpen your focus, refine your goals, and build the resilience to face life's noise without losing yourself. As we learn to embrace this quiet power, we set the stage for the next challenge, controlling the chaos of the mind. Solitude gives us clarity, but mental discipline ensures that clarity becomes action, turning our inner vision into an unstoppable force, controlling the chaos of the mind. Solitude has given you clarity, a quiet space to hear your own voice, but clarity alone isn't enough. The mind, left unchecked, is a wild landscape, full of untamed thoughts, creeping doubts, and relentless worries that can pull you away from your purpose. It's a battlefield where anxiety, regret, and self-criticism wage war, threatening to drown out your resolve. Weak minds are prisoners of this chaos, tossed by every fleeting fear, distracted by every shiny lure. But the strong, the stoic warrior, takes command. He doesn't let his thoughts rule him. He rules them, shaping them into tools for progress, not chains of paralysis. To control the chaos of the mind is to claim your ultimate freedom, to forge a mental fortress so resilient that no storm, internal or external, can shake it. It's about silencing the noise, focusing on what you can control, and turning your mind from a foe into your greatest ally. Let's dive into how to master your thoughts, harnessing their power to build a life of purpose and unbreakable strength. The mind is both a miracle and a menace. It can dream up empires, solve impossible problems, and imagine futures that change the world. But it can also spiral into darkness, replaying past mistakes, inventing future disasters, or whispering that you're not enough. Without discipline, it's a runaway train, careening through worry and doubt, dragging you along. The Stoics understood this better than most. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This isn't just wisdom, it's a blueprint. Your thoughts aren't your master. They're your servants, raw material to be shaped by your will. But shaping them takes work. The work of awareness, of questioning, of choosing what to let in and what to cast out. Every unchecked thought is a crack in your mental armor. Every disciplined one is a brick in your fortress. Consider James, a software engineer in San Francisco who struggled with anxiety. His mind was a storm, constantly worrying about deadlines, doubting his skills, fearing he'd be found out as a fraud. At night, he'd lie awake, his thoughts racing. What if I mess up this project? What if I lose my job? Paralyzed him, sapping his focus and joy. Then he stumbled across Stoicism and decided to fight back. He started small. Every time a negative thought hit, he'd write it down and ask, "Is this true? Can I control this?" Most fears, he realized, were either exaggerated or beyond his power, like worrying about others' opinions. He replaced them with affirmations. "I'm prepared for this task. I'll do my best, and that's enough." Over months, his mind quieted. He didn't eliminate anxiety, but he stopped letting it drive. James' story shows that controlling your mind isn't about perfection. It's about persistence, about choosing which thoughts to feed and which to starve. This skill is a lifeline in today's America, where mental chaos is epidemic. News feeds flood you with outrage, ads prey on your insecurities, and multitasking fractures your focus. It's easy to feel overwhelmed, to let your mind bounce from worry to distraction like a pinball. But you don't have to be a victim of this noise. The Stoics taught that you can't control the world's clamor, but you can control your response. Start by observing your thoughts without judgment, like clouds passing in the sky. Notice when worry creeps in. Maybe it's a deadline, a fight with a friend, or a vague fear of failure. Don't fight it. Name it. "This is anxiety," you might say. Then ask, "What can I do about it?" If it's actionable, make a plan, one small step, like drafting an email or practicing a skill. If it's not, like what someone thinks of you, let it go. This focus on what's in your control is your anchor, keeping you steady when the mind tries to drift. Let's draw from someone like Oprah Winfrey, a beacon of mental discipline whose journey resonates across America. Oprah faced trauma, poverty, and rejection, yet she built an empire not by luck but by mastering her mind. She's spoken about her practice of mindfulness, of pausing to reflect before reacting, of choosing thoughts that empower rather than diminish. When critics attacked her, she didn't spiral into self-doubt. She focused on her work, her purpose, her impact. Oprah's success shows that controlling your mind isn't just about avoiding negativity. It's about directing your energy toward what matters. It's about saying, "I choose progress over panic, clarity over chaos." Her life is proof that a disciplined mind can turn dreams into reality, no matter the odds. The emotional stakes here are high because your mind is your home. It's where you live every moment of every day. A chaotic mind feels like a prison, claustrophobic, draining, disorienting. A controlled mind feels like a sanctuary, calm, purposeful, free. Every time you redirect a negative thought, you're reclaiming that freedom. You're telling yourself, "I am not my doubts. I am not my fears. I am the one who decides." That power is exhilarating, like stepping out of a fog into sunlight. It's the confidence of knowing you can face uncertainty, a tough conversation, a career pivot, a personal loss, and still think clearly. In a culture that often glorifies emotional outbursts, choosing mental discipline is a quiet rebellion. It's a refusal to let chaos define you, a commitment to building a mind that serves your highest goals. How do you build this discipline? Practice mindfulness daily, even for 5 minutes. Sit quietly, notice your thoughts, and let them pass without clinging. When negativity strikes, counter it with truth. Replace "I'll fail" with "I'll learn." Replace "this is too hard" with "this is my chance to grow." These affirmations aren't wishful thinking. They're training, rewiring your brain to focus on possibility, not limitation. Eliminate distractions that fuel chaos. Limit social media. Turn off notifications. Create space for deep work. Over time, your mind becomes sharper, less reactive, more yours. You'll find yourself solving problems faster, staying calm under pressure, and pursuing your goals with laser focus. The Stoics saw this as the ultimate victory. A mind so disciplined it bends the world to your will, not the other way around. As we tame the chaos of the mind, we prepare for the final transformation. Adopting the warrior's mentality. Mental discipline gives us control, but the warrior spirit gives us courage. The relentless drive to face life's battles head-on, turning every challenge into a triumph. The warrior's mentality. Mental discipline has sharpened your focus, but focus alone doesn't win wars. Life is a battlefield, full of obstacles, setbacks, and moments that test your soul. To thrive, you must think like a warrior, not a bystander. A warrior doesn't shrink from conflict or cower at failure. He charges toward it, seeing every difficulty as a chance to prove his strength, every loss as a lesson to sharpen his blade. The Stoics admired this spirit, a relentless mindset that refuses to be broken, that finds glory not in easy wins but in hard-fought battles. To adopt the warrior's mentality is to live with courage, to embrace struggle as your forge, to transform yourself into someone who doesn't just endure life but conquers it. It's about forging a spirit so fierce that no fear, no doubt, no defeat can hold you back. Let's explore how to cultivate this mindset, turning every challenge into a victory and every moment into a chance to become legendary. The warrior's mentality is a choice, a refusal to let life's chaos define you. Weak minds see obstacles as reasons to quit, excuses to stay small. They flinch at hardship, dodge failure, and cling to comfort like a lifeline. But the warrior sees obstacles as training. A missed promotion, feedback to improve. A broken relationship, a lesson in resilience. A physical setback, a test of grit. He doesn't wish for an easier path. He demands the strength to walk a hard one. This mindset is what made the Stoics unstoppable. They didn't pray for calm seas. They built ships to weather any storm. Seneca wrote, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Every struggle is your friction, your chance to shine. The warrior doesn't run from the grind. He leans into it, knowing it's where greatness is forged. Take the story of Chris, a veteran in Texas who lost his leg in combat. Returning home, he faced a new war, depression, physical pain, and a world that felt alien. "I'm broken," he thought, staring at his prosthesis. The easy path was to give up, to let despair win. But Chris chose differently. He decided to think like a warrior. He started training, first with crutches, then with his new leg, falling and rising countless times. Every grueling session was a battle, not just against his body, but against the voice that said he'd never be whole again. He didn't stop at walking. He ran, competed, and became a Paralympic athlete. Chris' medals aren't just metal. They're proof that the warrior's mentality can turn loss into triumph, pain into purpose. His story shows that being a warrior isn't about being unbreakable. It's about refusing to stay broken. This mentality is a game changer in modern America, where comfort is king but struggle is inevitable. Layoffs hit, dreams stall, relationships fracture. Life doesn't care about your plans. The warrior's mindset equips you to face these blows without buckling. Starting a business after a failure, knowing the risk makes you sharper. Hitting the gym after a long day, because strength is non-negotiable. Apologizing after a fight, because courage isn't just physical. The warrior doesn't wait for perfect conditions. He creates them through effort, turning adversity into advantage. Look at someone like Muhammad Ali, a warrior in every sense. Ali didn't just fight in the ring. He battled racism, doubt, and a government that stripped his title. Yet he stood tall, trained harder, and spoke bolder, because he saw every challenge as a chance to define himself. Ali's life screams, "Don't dodge the fight, win it." How do you build this mindset? Train both body and mind because they're one. Physical strength fuels mental toughness. Lift weights, run hills, do yoga. Push your limits to prove you can. When your muscles burn, you're not just building biceps, you're building grit. Mentally, reframe failure as feedback. Lost a job? List 3 skills you'll hone. Missed a goal? Identify 1 lesson to carry forward. This shift isn't denial, it's defiance. A refusal to let setbacks own you. Seek challenges daily. Speak up in a meeting, tackle a fear, try something new. Each one is a sparring match, sharpening your courage. Under pressure, breathe deep and act, don't freeze. The warrior thrives in chaos, not because he's fearless, but because he's prepared. Over time, this becomes instinct. Obstacles don't scare you, they excite you because they're your chance to grow. The emotional fire of the warrior's mentality is raw and real. Every time you face a fear, whether it's a tough talk, a bold move, or a painful truth, you feel alive. It's the rush of knowing you didn't back down, the pride of standing taller after a fall. This isn't about aggression, it's about resolve, the deep certainty that you can handle whatever comes. In a world that often feels soft, where people shy from conflict or crumble under criticism, the warrior's mentality is a rebellion. It's a refusal to be tamed by fear, a commitment to live boldly, fiercely, fully. The Stoics saw this as the path to true freedom, a life where no challenge is too big, because you've made yourself too strong. As we embrace the warrior's mentality, we prepare for the final summit, building a legacy of strength. The warrior fights not just for today but for tomorrow, crafting a life that echoes beyond his years, inspiring others to rise. The legacy of strength. The warrior's mentality has armed you with courage, but courage is not the end. It's the means to a greater purpose, building a legacy of strength. In a world that tempts you with fleeting pleasures, likes, trends, and instant gratification, it's easy to drift through life, chasing shadows that vanish with time. But the Stoics called us to something higher. They believed that a life well lived is not measured by what you gain, but by what you leave behind. A mark of discipline, resilience, and virtue that echoes beyond your years. A legacy of strength isn't about fame or wealth. It's about impact, about living so fiercely and authentically that your presence inspires others long after you're gone. It's the art of crafting a life so purposeful that it becomes a beacon, guiding those who follow toward their own greatness. Let's explore how to forge this legacy, ensuring that every day you live is a step toward a story worth remembering. A legacy begins with a simple truth. Time is finite, and every moment is a choice. Seneca warned, "Life is long if you know how to use it." Yet so many squander their days, lost in distractions or chasing approval that fades like morning mist. The weak drift, hoping tomorrow will magically bring meaning, but tomorrow is not guaranteed. The strong seize today, treating each hour as a chance to build something enduring. This doesn't mean grand gestures or public acclaim. It means quiet, consistent effort. It's the discipline to rise early and work on your craft, even when no one notices. It's the resilience to keep going after a failure, knowing every setback refines you. It's the courage to live by your values, even when the crowd pulls you elsewhere. These choices, small as they seem, are the bricks of a legacy that stands firm against time's relentless tide. Consider the story of Rosa, a librarian in rural Georgia who never sought the spotlight. She spent decades teaching kids to read, not for praise but because she believed in their potential. Her library was a haven for misfits, dreamers, and kids who felt invisible. Rosa didn't have wealth or fame, but she had discipline. Showing up daily, curating books, listening to every child's story. Years later, those kids, now adults, a doctor, a poet, a teacher, credit her for sparking their paths. Rosa's legacy isn't in statues or headlines. It's in the lives she shaped, the minds she ignited. Her story reminds us that strength isn't loud. It's lasting. You don't need a stage to leave a mark. You need only the resolve to live with purpose, to give more than you take, to lift others as you rise. This idea resonates deeply in America today, where the pressure to make it big can drown out quieter truths. Social media screams that success is viral moments or packed bank accounts, but true legacies are built in the shadows, through grit, not glitter. The Stoics taught that a legacy is about character, not applause. It's the parent who works 2 jobs to give their kids a shot, leaving a lesson in perseverance. It's the volunteer who cleans up a park, planting seeds of care for the next generation. It's the artist who creates despite rejection, trusting their work will speak someday. These acts of strength ripple outward, touching lives you may never see. Your legacy isn't what the world says about you. It's what you do when the world isn't watching. How do you build this? Start by rejecting what's trivial. Turn off the noise. Limit mindless scrolling. Skip gossip. Avoid drama. These steal time from what matters, your growth, your relationships, your purpose. Replace them with disciplined habits. Read to sharpen your mind. Exercise to honor your body. Reflect to align your soul. Live by a code, maybe it's honesty, kindness, or relentless effort, and let every choice reflect it. Ask yourself daily, am I building something that lasts? If the answer's no, pivot. If it's yes, double down. Impact others intentionally. Mentor someone, share wisdom, or simply listen. These moments, though small, weave a legacy stronger than steel, because they live on in others' hearts. Let's draw from someone like John Lewis, a titan of America's civil rights struggle. Lewis faced beatings, arrests, and hatred, yet he marched on, driven by a vision of justice. His discipline wasn't just in protests. It was in his daily choice to love, to forgive, to keep fighting for a better world. When he died, thousands mourned, not because he sought fame, but because he lived strength. Lewis' legacy teaches us that true power lies in persistence, in living so boldly that your life becomes a call to action. You don't need his stage to follow his example. Your choices, how you treat others, how you face adversity, how you spend your days, shape a legacy just as real. The emotional pull of this pursuit is raw and profound. Building a legacy feels like carving your name into the universe, a defiant stand against oblivion. It's the warmth of knowing you've lived true, the peace of leaving no what-ifs behind. Every disciplined step, every act of courage, every moment of integrity is a brushstroke on the canvas of your life. You're not just existing, you're creating, crafting a story that others will tell. The Stoics saw this as the ultimate triumph. A life so well lived that death holds no sting, because you've squeezed every drop of meaning from your time. In a culture obsessed with now, choosing a legacy is a rebellion, a refusal to be forgotten, a commitment to matter. This doesn't mean perfection. You'll stumble, doubt, falter. That's human. But strength lies in rising, in recommitting to your purpose. Start today. Do one thing that aligns with the legacy you want. Help someone, create something, push past a fear. These acts compound, building a life that speaks for itself. Your legacy isn't a destination. It's a journey, and every step counts. Live so that when your time comes, you look back not with regret but with pride, knowing you've left the world better than you found it. As we forge this legacy of strength, we complete the circle of Stoic wisdom. From killing excuses to embracing the warrior's mentality, each lesson has built toward this. A life of discipline, courage, and impact. But the journey doesn't end here. It begins anew each day, calling you to live with purpose, to rise above the ordinary, to become the hero of your own story. You stand now at the crossroads of your own destiny, armed with the timeless wisdom of the Stoics, a map to a life of strength, clarity, and meaning. This journey began with a single truth. The greatest battle is within, against the weak, hesitant, fearful version of yourself. By killing excuses, you claimed the power to act. Through discipline, you built a foundation stronger than fleeting motivation. Hardship became your teacher, forging resilience in its fire. Mastering emotions gave you clarity, while self-respect rooted you in unshakable worth. Endurance carried you through trials, solitude sharpened your purpose, and mental discipline tamed the chaos within. The warrior's mentality fueled your courage, and now, the legacy of strength calls you to live so boldly that your life becomes a light for others. This isn't just philosophy, it's a revolution. It's a refusal to settle for mediocrity in a world that tempts you to drift. You are not here to scroll through life, to chase fleeting highs, to blend into the crowd. You are here to dominate your weaknesses, to sculpt a self so powerful that no storm can break you. The Stoics didn't just teach us to survive, they taught us to thrive, to forge lives of purpose that echo beyond our years. Every choice you make, every disciplined act, every courageous step, is a brick in the monument of your existence. You are the architect, and the time to build is now. In 2025, the world moves faster than ever. Algorithms feed you distractions, outrage drowns out reason, and comfort lures you from growth. But you have the tools to rise above. Start small. Set one non-negotiable habit, 5 minutes of meditation, a daily walk, a page of writing, and stick to it. Limit your screen time. Reclaim those hours for what matters. Face one fear each week, a tough talk, a new skill, a bold idea to build courage. Reflect nightly. Did I live true to my values today? These aren't grand leaps. They're daily steps, grounding you in a life of intention. Connect with others not to impress, but to uplift. Share your journey, listen to theirs, and build a community of strength. Above all, remember, life is now. Don't wait for someday to become your best self. Start today, because every moment is a chance to shape your legacy. The path to greatness is yours to walk, and we're here to guide you every step of the way. If this journey through Stoic wisdom has sparked something in you, don't let it fade. Subscribe to ZenLight 8 on YouTube for more insights to fuel your growth. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a chance to sharpen your mind and soul. Share this video with someone who needs it, someone ready to rise above the ordinary. And in the comments, let's inspire each other. Drop one word that captures your takeaway from this story. I'll start. Purpose. What's yours?